Assalamu alaikum. As we discussed in our first episode on the Exegetic Meditative translation of Surah al-Fajr, chapter 89 of the Qur'an, this surah begins with multiple divine oaths that serve to warn strongly, in the light of what follows the oaths, against Allah's devastating earthly punishment for those who defy Him and transgress against others and spread depravity on earth. The surah affirms that Allah is ever watchful of those and may hence crush and annihilate them any minute He wills, giving examples from what He, subhanahu wa ta'ala, actually did to exceptionally powerful and prosperous transgressors of old. Have you not perceived how your Lord and Master dealt with Ad, Iram, with giant bodies and great strength, and with mansions towering high, the like of which was never created across all lands, and Thamud, who had hewed and carved out huge rocks in the valley, and Fir'aun, Pharaoh, the master of pillars and stakes, those who had transgressed all over the lands and had consequently brought about abundant depravity therein. Hence did your Lord and Master pour upon them a scourge of torturous punishment, for your Lord and Master is indeed ever watchful and is ever on the lookout. To start with, Ad, in the opening question, have you not perceived how your Lord dealt with Ad, is the name of an ancient Arab tribe of giants that had lived in Arabia before being annihilated by divine punishment. Their story was still well known amongst Arabs and their neighbours at the time of Qur'an revelation. Iram was the name of the tribe's forefather, and his name was still at times attached to the name of the tribe of Ad as a whole, which was occasionally named as Adu Iram. Besides, Iram itself was the name of a great city named after this man that this tribe had built as the center of their civilization. Thus, the word Iram in the present text, have you not perceived how your Lord dealt with Ad, with Iram, can be understood as referring both to people of the tribe itself and to their great metropolis. In the light of this, the description given to Iram in the same ayah as having been Irama dhatil imad, literally meaning which was characterized by imad, has been marked by Qur'an exegetes as making brilliant use of different meanings of the word imad at the same time. You see, the singular noun imad, singular, pluralized as either amad or umud, has meanings that include, first and foremost, a tent's main pole, which bears most of a tent's weight and upon which the construction of a tent relies. And it consequently stands for any reliable support and for any buttress. But imad is also the plural form of imadah, which is a tall structure or an elevated building. Now when going back to the ayah that says Iram, which was characterized by imad, we may understand that this to be a description of the tribe's power and strength, its tyrannical might. At the same time, it may physically mean Iram, which was characterized by tall structures, metaphorically describing the giant members of that tribe, while simultaneously portraying the elevated buildings of their once luxurious city of Iram. On a related note, the relative clause التي لم يخلق مثلها في البلاد, which means the like of which was never created, comes immediately thereafter as a second modifier for Iram. This again may be taken as describing the tribe itself, its members, as well as its metropolis. And you will notice that the word bilad is the plural form of the word balad, which means a land as well as a city or even country. Following the rhetorical question about the catastrophic fate of the tribe of Ad, the surah poses a similar rhetorical question about the fate of another Arab tribe that had been annihilated, the tribe of Thamud. Those, the ayah says, are the ones who جابوا الصخر بالواد. In the vast valley of al-Hijr, where they lived in the north of Arabia, they used to hew and carve out the rocks of mountain facades, with both these verbs explicitly denoted by the Arabic verb jaba. Finally, the third rhetorical question posed is about how Allah had destroyed Fir'aun, that is Pharaoh, whom the ayah describes as Dhil Awtad, meaning Pharaoh, the owner or master of Awtad. This word, Awtad, is the plural form of the noun watad, which is a tent pole, which together with many other poles on every side of a tent holds the tent tight in place. Moreover, a watad is a stake to which people used to be tied for torture or execution. And the plural word awtad is also used metaphorically for stalwart warriors and other pillars of power that enforce the authority of a ruler, much like poles of a tent do. We have seen how the 4 oaths made by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala at the outset of this surah bring together different devotional times and seasons of utmost blessedness for sincere worshippers of Allah. And for the unstated subject of these 4 oaths, we have seen how they lead to an implicit promise of devastating punishment for those who dare defy Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This implication is realized and elaborated upon through the next lines. Alam tara? Have you not seen, observed, O Messenger Muhammad? It's Messenger Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him. For such have we learned to often identify the unidentified male addressee in the Qur'an. So have you not, O Messenger Muhammad, cognitively perceived? Cognitively, because the events perceived are ancient ones, that had happened many, many centuries before the birth of Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him. Hence, the perception is by all means cognitive and not visual. So, have you not cognitively perceived كيف فعل ربك بعاد, how your Lord dealt with the tribe of Ad, how your Lord, Rabbuka, meaning your Rabb. And Rabb, as we have learned before, stands for the one who brings about, nurtures, owns, takes care of, and protects. So we may understand it according to context as your all-glorious Lord and Master, your Creator, Nurturer, Guardian, and therefore your only deity. And this is succeeded straight away by the illustrative إرم ذات العماد التي لم يخلق مثلها في البلاد. The people of Iram, with giant bodies and great strength, and with mansions towering high, the like of which was never created across all lands. There does the first rhetorical question end. And as a negative question, it naturally implies an affirmative reply, which is indeed, you have. But then why does the Qur'an ask rhetorical questions such as this one? We've explained before that a rhetorical question is much more powerful than a blank statement. You see, it serves as a meditative prompt, initiating a thoughtful state and raising interest in the topic at hand. Next, it elucidates the target point which is being made through a matter that is agreed upon. And thus, number 3, it actively engages the reader or hearer in personal conversation through a common bit of information. It's thus an ingenious conversational technique that the Qur'an frequently uses. Next, after asking rhetorically about the annihilation of the tribe of Ad, the surah proceeds to ask about Thamud. وَثَمُودَ الَّذِينَ جَابُوا الصَّخْرَ بِالْوَادِ, about the other Arabian tribe of Thamud, which was similarly annihilated after Ad, as we said. And have you not cognitively perceived how your Lord dealt with the tribe of Thamud, who had hewed and carved out the huge solid rocks in the well-known valley? Well known because this is what the definite article indicates, that the valley, al-Wad, was recognized by hearers at the time of revelation, and in fact until this very day. And the rhetorical question concerning knowledge about Thamud is again suggestive of the implied reply, indeed you have. And then the third case of destructive divine punishment that is asked about is the case of Pharaoh. And have you not cognitively perceived how your Lord dealt with Fir'aun, Pharaoh Dhil Autad, the master of pillars and stakes, which, with more elaboration on this basic language level of translation, may be understood to be saying the master of the sturdy troops that were strong pillars of his power, and the owner of colossal structures that stood firm like huge stakes, to which the implied reply again goes, indeed you have. So what about Ad and Thamud and Fir'aun? The surah proceeds, those in truth were people who had طغوا في البلاد, transgressed all over the lands where they lived. Bilad, remember, is the plural of balad, of a land or a country. And what's next? After they transgressed, فَأَكْثَرُوا فِيهَا الْفَسَادِ, and had consequently brought about abundant depravity therein, فِيهَا. And that is when divine retribution was well deserved by them. فَصَبَّ عَلَيْهِمْ رَبُّكَ سَوْطَ عَذَابٍ. Hence did your Rabb, Rabbuka, that is your Lord and Master, your Creator, Nurturer, Guardian and only Deity, O Messenger Muhammad, صَبَّ عَلَيْهِمْ, pour upon them His overwhelming retribution in the form of سَوْطَ عَذَابٍ, of a severe scourge of sudden torturous punishment. Such is the consummation of the passage on the fate of Allah's defiers, of the old days. However, the closing sentence is followed by a final statement from Allah, which assures His Prophet that He, subhanahu wa ta'ala, is ever watchful and is ever on the lookout. Notice here that this is an independent, supplementary sentence that comments in a proverbial manner upon the sentence preceding it for the two purposes of emphasis and commentary. And this is the exact definition of what we call tadhyil in Arabic rhetoric, specifically of the type that bears the long term of إطناب بالتذييل جار مجرى المثل. This is exactly what it is termed in Arabic rhetoric. It does not speak about the specific case set forth or the point made by the preceding sentence, but it rather makes a general statement that is independent while being relatable only through deduction. By enriching this final statement with its naturally understood connotations, it goes, "For your omniscient Lord and Master, your Creator, Nurturer, Guardian, and only Deity, O Messenger Muhammad, is surely ever watchful and is ever on the lookout for His defiers." Have you not, O Messenger Muhammad, cognitively perceived with the eyes of full-hearted faith beyond just hearing how your all-glorious Lord and Master, your Creator, Nurturer, Guardian, and only Deity dealt with the tribe of Ad, the people of Iram, with giant bodies and great strength, and with mansions towering high, the like of which was never created across all lands? Indeed, you have. Indeed, you have perceived how those believed that they were invincible, but then they were so easily annihilated for defying Hud, your Lord's messenger, to them. And have you not cognitively perceived, again with the eyes of full-hearted faith beyond just hearing, how your Lord dealt with the tribe of Thamud, who had powerfully hewed and carved out the huge solid rocks in the well-known valley of al-Hijr, building themselves stately cities in the rock? Indeed, you have perceived how those believed that they could live unharmed for all eternity, but were so easily annihilated for defying Salih, your Lord's messenger, to them. And have you not cognitively perceived with the eyes of full-hearted faith beyond just hearing how your Lord dealt with Pharaoh, the tyrant master of sturdy troops that were strong pillars of his power, and the owner of colossal structures such as pyramids, obelisks, and statues that stood firm in his land like huge stakes? Indeed, you have perceived how he, who had claimed that he was the supreme deity and that his power would last forever, was likewise so easily annihilated, together with his countless troops, for defying Musa, your Lord's messenger, to them. Those, in truth, were three stark examples of people who had transgressed against Allah and His messengers and against other people all over the lands of Allah where they lived, and that consequently, through their insistence upon unbelief, vice, and grave sins, brought about abundant depravity therein. Hence did your Lord and Master, your Creator, Nurturer, Guardian, and only Deity, O Messenger Muhammad, pour upon them his overwhelming retribution in the form of a severe scourge of sudden torturous punishment. For your Lord and Master, O Messenger Muhammad, your Creator, Nurturer, Guardian and only Deity, in his uttermost exaltation above and beyond his throne and the whole of creation, is indeed, with his omniscient knowledge, ever watchful of his slaves' every thought, intention and action, keeping record of every detail thereof for their later fair judgment. And he is ever on the lookout for his defiers, all capable of destroying them any time the way he wills.